In this video, you'll learn the 3 most important questions that you'll be asked in your Florida workers' compensation deposition. If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Domenic Celeste, the virtual accident attorney. I'm based in Palm Beach County, Florida, and I represent those injured on the job in workers' compensation and due to the fault of another in personal injury. This channel is all about answering your questions and giving you tips relating to Florida workers' compensation and personal injury law. Now, before we get started, I have to show you this disclaimer, so just hold tight. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. While it's always important to answer every question in your deposition correctly, some questions, if answered incorrectly, have greater consequences. And those are the questions that I'll be going over in this video. After you've watched this video, if you want to learn about all the other questions that you may be asked in your deposition, check out the video linked in the card above. Let's get into those 3 important questions. The first most important question pertains to the specific issues in your case. Now, obviously, I don't know anything about you or your case, so I can't tell you exactly what's important to your specific case. And this is one of the reasons why you need to hire an attorney if you're ever scheduled for a deposition, because the attorney will be able to pinpoint the problems and prepare you for them. Because there's no way for me to go over all these possible questions in this video, I'm going to focus on the other 2 important questions. The next 2 important questions are important for similar reasons, in that if you answer these questions incorrectly, the work comp attorney will present you as a liar for the purpose of securing work comp benefits and ask the judge that your case be dismissed for fraud. Fraud is the easiest way for work comp to get rid of you and your case, so don't let them. Here's what you need to know and how to make sure you have the best chance not to answer these questions incorrectly. The first question relates to any previous or prior pains, injuries, complaints, treatment, or accidents that you've ever had in your entire life, whether work-related or not, or related to the injuries that you sustained in your work accident. It doesn't matter how big or small, serious or not serious, or whether you think it's even relevant to your case or not. You need to tell them about everything, and this includes other work accidents, motor vehicle accidents, slip, trip, or falls, sports injuries, health problems, diseases. Basically, you need to tell them about everything and anything that you've ever seen a doctor for or that may be in a record somewhere, because if it can be found, you can bet work comp will find it. So, how do you protect yourself here? The first thing is to tell them everything, even when you fall off your bike as a kid. So, at least your attorney has some sort of argument that you were trying to be as truthful as possible if by chance you do forget to tell them something more important. Also, if you don't know or don't remember something, it's totally fine to say, I don't know or I don't remember. Don't guess ever though. And this is especially important if you think that you never heard a certain body part before. Never answer no to these questions. Rather, if you don't think that you ever injured a certain body part before, say something like, I don't think so, or to the best of my knowledge, memory, recollection, belief, no. And the reason why is, if you just flat out say no and you're wrong, that's it. Work comp's coming after you for fraud. But if you use a phrase to show that you're not 100% sure and then it turns out you're wrong, at least your attorney can argue that you didn't intentionally answer the question incorrectly, but rather that you were trying to give your best answer that you could remember. Fraud, or as it's known in work comp as misrepresentation, is intentional. So if you can show that you didn't intentionally misrepresent something, even if you were wrong, you have a good chance of defeating a fraud defense. The last important question is whether you just can't do anything because of your work comp injury. This question is usually asked at the end of the deposition, because by that time, it's become very conversational. And the work comp attorney knows that in a normal conversation, if someone asks you how you're feeling, you say, oh, I can't do this, that, and the other. Now just know, attorneys take words very literally. And the way an attorney interprets the word can't is something that you're absolutely unable to do in a life or death situation. So if you think of it that way, there really isn't anything that you can't do, besides maybe hold your breath for 20 minutes. Rather, what we really mean when we say we can't do something is that we have pain and limitations. But that's just weird to say in normal conversation. For example, If you have a knee injury, you may say that you can't go up and down stairs in normal conversation. But what you really mean is that it hurts going up and down stairs, that you have to take one step at a time, or that you have to hold the railing when you're walking up and down the stairs. It's not that you can't do it, it's that you have pain and limitations. So when you're asked in deposition if there's anything that you can't do, you say, no, but there are things that I'm limited or have pain in doing. And then you give examples of those things. Now there's a difference in not being able to do something and just not having tried it, or having tried it, then stop because it hurt too much. That's not the same thing. Now, if you haven't tried doing something, how do you know you can't do it? Also, just because you tried doing something and it hurt too much, so you stopped doing it, doesn't mean that you can't do it. Remember, you stopped doing it because you had pain. And the reason why not saying that you can't do something is so important is because if you do, Work Comp will hire an investigator if they haven't already, so be careful when you're outside, to follow you around and take pictures and video of you doing that thing that you said you can't do, and then show it to the judge to prove that you lied for the purpose of securing workers' comp benefits in support of their fraud defense. Basically, just never answer this question by saying that there are things that you can't do, and you should be fine. I hope after watching this video, you're more aware of the most important questions that you'll be asked in your deposition, why they're so important, and how you can make sure that you answer them in the best possible way. As you can see, Florida workers' compensation law can be really complex, but what can you do about it? Well, you can hire an attorney that's licensed to practice law in Florida and that handles workers' compensation cases, that represents real clients, goes to court, that knows what they're doing. And if you or someone you know are injured on the job or due to the fault of another, give me a call any time of the day or night. I have a 24/7, 365 receptionist, or you can go to my website to fill out an intake and schedule a free consultation. Or you know what? You can just text me, 561-935-3822. But that's it for this video. If you got value out of it or if you learned something, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. If you have a question, let me know in the comments below and I'll try and answer it. Like and follow me on all my socials to stay updated. And if you want to learn more about me, my firm, Florida Work Comp, or personal injury law, just go to my website, virtualaccidentattorney.com. Alright, so that's it for now. Again, my name is Domenic Celeste, the virtual accident attorney. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.